which is the other piece of this, is that I understood him in some ways because we were similar in some ways, which brings me to this. It's not always the other person is evil or like this horrible person, or that you are some helpless damsel or dame in distress, because you both were there, right? It's not about bad or good. It's about toxic and dysfunctional, problematic, you could do better. That's really what it is. And that's on both of us, or whoever is in the relationship, because everybody isn't doing monogamy, right? Or only talking to one person. So, it's also other things, right? So like, I have a very much dismissive attachment style as well, which is why it's not that it's easy, right? Because I want people to understand, we have feelings. Avoidants have feelings too, right? People who are avoidant or have a dysregulated attachment style, it's not a secure attachment style, basically. And with dysregulated, we can be dismissive avoidant. We can also have some anxious avoidant in there as well, right? And then sometimes we can be very secure. It just depends. That's why it's dysregulated. But I'm dysregulated, but I lean heavily into my avoidance, right? Which is what typically happens when you grow up in a household where you don't have emotionally available parents. It just needs to be said. And where you're neglected a lot. I mean, and when I look at his situation, at least based off of what he told me, and then I look at my own situation, we basically had similar childhoods in many ways. It wasn't always exactly the same childhood, but there were definitely similarities. Like, we both grew up with our grandmothers essentially being our mothers, our grandfathers being our fathers. We were raised by our grandparents. And our parents weren't really emotionally available or emotionally mature to actually be parents in the first place, which is another reason why I'm pro-choice, because I'm like, why do y'all keep having kids knowing that you are not in the mindset to have them, and you have no intentions of ever really raising them either? I'm just gonna be real. Like, some people have no business having kids. It is what it is. But anyways, so when you grow up in a household where not only are you emotionally neglected, but you're physically neglected. Your actual biological parents are not in the house with you. Like, I grew up with my mom disappearing all the time. I mean, literally, she would be there, and I love my mom. Like, let me get this straight. I'm not using my childhood to justify my toxic ways, because let's be real, I'm 32 years old. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm not going to keep using my childhood to justify being an avoidant. At some point, you have to take accountability for your own shit, right? But I'm saying this to say, throughout that 2.5-year situationship, I left numerous times because I will get to a point where I am naturally overwhelmed and I'm tired. So instead of going back and forth with you, I will disappear on your ass. Zoop, I'll be gone. I will be fucking gone. And arguably, I look at how my mom did me and I'm like, damn, I'm my mom in a lot of ways. Because she would just disappear and you would just be like, damn, you know where she's at. And then like 6 months later, she would literally call my granny and be like, oh yeah, I'm in California. I'm in the DR. Oh, we're in Washington. I'm in Cleveland. Like, literally, you ain't seen her in shit half a year, and she just randomly calls. And then with my biological father, this nigga wasn't even, oh Lord, nowhere to be found the vast majority of the time. So it is what it is. And then my granny and my papa raised me. You know, my granny did, I still view it as, yes, there was a lot of issues there. Don't get me wrong, but she did a hell of a job raising me. And I will never take that for granted, because at the end of the day, those are your grandparents. They didn't have to raise you, because technically you're not their child and you're not their responsibility. But they decided to step up to the fucking plate. Okay? And at the same time, they're baby boomers. And if you know anything about baby boomers, they are really not emotionally available at all. Okay? Like, they are, woo, my God, you want to talk about narcissistic behaviors. Like, what the hell is going on? But still, they raised me. They didn't have to. So I'm not going to take that for granted. And I appreciate my granny and my papa, you know, and I appreciate my mom, you know, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. But at 32, I recognize this more and more. Like, nigga, your attachment style is crazy, bro. Because it's like, you'll disappear in a minute. I mean, block a nigga on everything, delete their phone number, and you're gone. And a lot of people will see that and think, nigga, you're the narcissist. And maybe I am, right? Because that's the other thing that I'm learning. And I'm guilty of this, right? Because I used to be on the same shit. Like, you niggas is narcissistic. Or you niggas, you know what I mean? You're a narcissist. First of all, I am not a mental health professional, so I cannot diagnose anybody. Granted, can people be narcissistic in the sense that you have some very narcissistic traits or behaviors? Yes. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have narcissistic personality disorder. And then also, there's a lot of similarities to narcissism that's not narcissism. And what I mean by that is, people who are autistic can come off as narcissistic. People who have ADHD can come off as narcissistic. People who are bipolar can come off as narcissistic. People who have borderline personality disorder can come off narcissistic. People who have schizophrenia or like a schizoid personality disorder can come off narcissistic. Okay. And also, most people are going to have some type of narcissistic traits about them. That doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person. And it doesn't mean that they have NPD, full-blown NPD. I mean, it is what it is. But the way I detach is almost kind of similar to a narcissist discarding somebody. So I do recognize that I can come off as a narcissistic person, because the way I detach, it's almost like you didn't exist. And that's fucked up. Like, I'll be the first to say that is wrong. And at the same time, it's not that you didn't exist, because I still think about this person every single day. But, and the other person, like, there's been other people that I've left. I'll be the first to say that. It's not that I don't care about you, but it gets to a point where obviously you don't give a fuck about me. So why do I need to continue to be here with you again? And then also,